are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the Live to 110 Health Transformation webinar. My name is Wendy Myers. I'm a health coach in Los Angeles, California. Thank you so much for joining us. This is session 5 of our 6th session health transformation. It almost makes you kind of sad. We only have one more session left. But today I want to talk to you about some really important topics regarding supplementation. A lot of people, they just don't realize that how important it is to supplement. It's incredibly important because our soils and our bodies are so deficient in nutrients. And I'm going to explain a little bit about why that is. And I'm also going to tell you what I think are some of the best supplements that you can buy and how you can go about testing to find out if you are in fact nutrient deficient and perhaps need to start doing some supplementation. So let's get started today with session 5 of the Health Transformation webinar. Okay, let's start the slideshow. Last session, we were supposed to attempt a 1-week sugar detox just to try it on for size. I'm just wondering if you were able to do that. Were you able to get past your cravings the first few days and keep going? You really can do anything for a week. And we also went over a few facts about how fruit surprisingly contains a lot of sugar. Were you able to reduce this too? Well, good for you if you were able to make these really important changes to your diet. Reducing sugar is possibly the single most important thing that you can do to improve your health and prevent disease. So let's get on with today's session. Today we're going to go over, like I said, what's going on here? Why you need to supplement, synthetic versus natural vitamins. A lot of people, they don't realize the difference. The best multivitamins and testing for nutrient deficiencies. So why is it that you need to supplement? I can't stress enough why you need to supplement vitamin and mineral supplements. Our modern food supply is severely deficient in nutrients, mainly minerals. In fact, a head of broccoli grown today has 20% of the mineral content that it contained in the 1920s. And this is due to many factors. Number one, you're born nutrient depleted and toxic. Even if one eats a perfect diet of organic food and lives a really healthy lifestyle, we are born with the nutritional deficiencies and heavy metal and chemical toxicity of our mothers. And unfortunately, depending on how toxic the mother is, whether she has mercury toxicity or too much aluminum in her body, or she has adrenal fatigue or other like mineral deficiencies, these are passed from the mother to the child to the placenta. The mother cannot give her minerals and vitamins that she does not have to the child. And also these aluminum and lead and cadmium and mercury and all these things that are in the mother's body do transfer into the child, unfortunately. Another reason we need to supplement is because our soils are very depleted. Many soils are low in zinc, manganese, chromium, molybdenum, calcium, and magnesium. So no matter what diet you eat, no matter how healthy, you simply cannot obtain all the nutrients that you need from food. There's some people, if they've just grown their own vegetable garden their entire life and only eaten vegetables from that, and they absolutely know how to mineralize the soil and rotate the crops properly, perhaps those people aren't as depleted, but that's not going to be that many people. So the majority of people are eating food from soils that are depleted because crops are not rotated properly and same foods are grown on the same soil over and over and over. It's just depleted. Another reason we need to supplement is that high yield crops are deficient. Um, there's 10 times the amount of wheat is grown on the same land as was grown 100 years ago. Today's wheat contains about 6% protein, whereas 100 years ago it contained 12 to 14%. Trace mineral levels are similarly much lower due to high yield farming methods. Also, modern fertilizers lack trace minerals. 100 years ago, manure was used for fertilizer, and it's really what we should be using today. Today's superphosphate fertilizers like Miracle Grow and other more commercially used fertilizers are used but contain mainly nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus, but are deficient in the trace elements found in nature. This has contributed greatly to the depletion of soils and crop minerals. Organically grown food is generally more nutrient rich because it's grown on better quality soil with proper farming methods and fertilization, but this is not always the case. For instance, pretty much at every farmer's market in Los Angeles that I've gone to, I've asked almost every single vendor, and the foods are not grown with pesticides and they're, for the most part, organic, but almost all of them invariably are grown with chemical fertilizers. So this is going to make the vegetables less healthy. Additionally, pesticides deplete soils. Pesticides kill soil microorganisms that are needed to make minerals and other nutrients available to plants. The result is lower nutrient content. Many pesticides are deadly chemicals that severely tax the human system. Many contain lead, arsenic, and other toxic metals that slowly accumulate in the body over decades unless one detoxifies from them. So our laws currently allow sewage and factory sludge to be sold as fertilizer that contains significant amounts of toxic metals. These add greatly to our toxic metal burden and require extra nutrients to help remove them from the body. It's kind of like another stressor that our bodies use up minerals to try to get these things out of our bodies. Another problem is long distance transportation. Many foods are grown thousands of miles from where they are purchased, even halfway around the world. I don't know if you've been in Whole Foods lately, but in the winter, there's all kinds of fruit from Chile that's on the other side of the planet, which is nice, but there is a price to pay in that in the nutrient content of the food. On average, food spends a week in transit to reach you. Because of this, produce is picked before it's fully ripe, preventing maximum nutrient potential. The minute food is picked, nutrient levels begin to diminish. So ideally, you want to grow your own vegetables and eat them while they're still alive, while their little zucchini hearts are still beating. Also, another reason you need a supplement is that because food additives deplete nutrients. Um, Thousands of artificial flavors, colors, flavor enhancers, dough conditioners, and preservatives are added to foods. While some are harmless, many are toxic and deplete the body of nutrients. For example, EDTA added to some frozen vegetables to preserve the color of vegetables does so by removing vital minerals from the vegetable so that it doesn't tarnish. And unfortunately, this EDTA in your body chelates minerals out of your body. And it's actually something that doctors will give to their patients to chelate minerals out of their heavy metals out of their body. One other thing I just missed was that food processing also drastically reduces nutrient content. The refining of wheat to make white flour removes 80% of its magnesium, 70 to 80% of its zinc, 87% of its chromium, 88% of its manganese, and 50% of its cobalt. Refining sugarcane to make white flour removes 99% of its magnesium and 93% of its chromium. Polishing rice removes 75% of its zinc and chromium. So even foods that are in whole grain form still suffer from nutrient deficiency if they're processed, boxed, shipped, and stored for any significant period of time. Frozen foods are nutritionally better, but not as good as fresh vegetables. Just forget canned vegetables. I would not eat them. It's always best to eat foods as close to their original, minimally processed form as possible. For instance, you want to eat a fresh strawberry, not a dried one. Another problem people have with getting the nutrients that they need, and another reason we need a supplement, is because of weakened digestion. One result of eating refined, low quality food with hundreds of food additives is that most people's digestion is impaired. This further impairs nutrient absorption and increases nutritional needs. Additionally, eating a lot of sugar and wheat flour depletes your body of vitamins and minerals, and most processed foods and a lot of foods that people are eating are made from sugar and wheat flour. So these are just, after years and years and years of eating like this, people's diet and their digestion is just really off. Stressful lifestyles. deplete many nutrients, including calcium, magnesium, and zinc. Zinc begins to be eliminated from the body within minutes of a stressful situation. Stress causes excessive sympathetic nervous system activity, which reduces digestive strength. Because when you feel stressed out, you're just not able to digest your food as well as if you're more relaxed. And a lot of people have, problems with stress in our very fast-paced environment. This in turn reduces nutrient absorption even further. Thus, anyone under stress will need even more nutrients than someone that lives a very peaceful existence. So let's go over, oh gosh. So we're having some technical difficulties here, unfortunately. Let's get to the next slide. All right, synthetic versus natural vitamins. There's a big debate out there whether you should be taking natural or synthetic vitamins. Previously, I had written a blog post called 90% of vitamins are synthetic, trying to convince people to avoid synthetic vitamins. But I've since changed my position on this issue. Over the last year, I've been studying intensely about supplements and vitamins, and I just no longer able to vilify synthetic vitamins like I have in the past. While food-based vitamins sound like a really good idea, many people have problems with food-based vitamins. There's a lot of ingredients in them that cause people some problems like allergies or sensitivities. And I'm personally taking synthetic vitamins, and at this time, I do recommend them. You just have to find out which ones are best for you. So let's break down some of the problems with food-based vitamins. Number one, food-based supplements usually contain synthetic vitamins. So even if most people who are taking food-based vitamins are still getting synthetic vitamins. Some claim to be all natural, but use yeast or algae or other foods as a base. And the manufacturers simply add synthetic vitamins to this food base. The ones that I recommend do not use this loophole and are high quality, but this is definitely something to watch out for. For instance, the Whole Foods brand is not a true food-based vitamin and uses algae as their base with synthetic vitamins added to the product. This is unfortunately the norm rather than the exception with food-based vitamins. So I'm going to give you some little tips on how to figure that out. Food-based vitamins can also be isolated. While some food-based supplements are pure whole foods, many are not. For example, a food-based chromium made from yeast is still an extract. This same chromium can be put into a synthetic or a food-based supplement. So even if a food-based vitamin C is extracted or isolated from a plant, such as the astrolola cherry, in some cases the entire food is served, but usually not, or the entire food is put into the supplement, but not always. A lot of times they are isolated and extracted and then put into the food base. So be careful with the word isolated, since it could apply to both food-based and synthesized products. As an example, synthesized vitamin C works excellently as an antioxidant, even if it is an isolate in the form of ascorbic acid. Vitamin C, synthetic vitamin C, just like natural vitamin C, helps to rebuild tissue, chelate heavy metals, and can perform hundreds of other functions in the body. The same is true of isolated B complex, isolated natural vitamin E, isolated chelated minerals, and others. So, don't be fooled by the word isolated. Another problem with food-based vitamins is they have a much higher cost. Food-based vitamins are almost always more costly than synthetics because it's just more costly to manufacture food-based supplements than are synthetics. Food-based supplements are also far more costly because more pills are needed to achieve the same dose. Another problem with food-based vitamins is that dosages are too low, typically in the food-based products. More product is needed to obtain the same dosage than compared to synthetics in many cases. Food-based programs are less convenient due to the large number of tablets or capsules required. So even though that bottle of food-based supplements you're buying contains 90 tablets, any good food-based multivitamin, you're going to have to take 4 to 8 or more per day in divided doses of this food-based vitamin to get the same dosage that you would need with a synthetic vitamin in 2 to 4 tablets a day. This means that many more tablets have to be given, rendering the supplementation awkward or even impossible for some people because most people are not going to comply with taking 8 pills a day just for their vitamins. So this poses a problem. Another big problem with food-based vitamins is sensitivities to the foods or the fillers in the supplements. One food-based company that sells to many chiropractors claims that their products are quite superior to all others. However, they put oat flour in most of the tablets, perhaps as like a binding agent or a filler. And the problem is that many people are sensitive to gluten-containing foods and products. Food-based products can contain all kinds of different foods to which many have allergies or sensitivities. For instance, some products contain fillers, potato starch as a filler, and many people have nightshade sensitivities. Potatoes are nightshades. So, as a result, food-based products can cause mild to severe allergic reactions or food sensitivity symptoms, while the so-called isolated synthetic nutrient products would not cause such a problem because they only have the nutrients in them. They don't have any other fillers or, for the most part, or any other kind of foods in them. And as a result, synthetics work far better for sensitive people. People vary in their tolerance to all supplements as well as to foods. So to say that one is better than another, that food supplements are better than synthetics, is always a generalization, and that's just untrue. Another problem with food-based vitamins is you can get inexact dosages of desired nutrients and undesirable nutrients that are in the food-based products, which pose some problems. When combined in a food or even an herbal product, one is getting the nutrient, but is also getting extra nutrients that often counteract or antagonize the desired nutrients. Important nutrients may be omitted or others included because this is the only way to approximate the correct nutrients to get, for instance, 25 milligrams of zinc in per pill. For example, suppose we wish to give 25 milligrams of zinc to a person. In a food-based product, the zinc will be combined in a food or herbal form that most likely also contains a little copper, manganese, selenium, chromium, or other minerals. However, the other minerals directly compete with zinc for absorption. So no matter what the label says, the person is not getting the same amount of zinc as he would if there were no antagonistic or competing nutrients present. So, food-based vitamin companies also could add many herbs to their products without realizing that the minerals in the herbs can and do also compete with the desired advertised mineral in the product. This can effectively reduce the dose of the desired mineral. So you have to be careful with that. Another problem with food-based vitamins is that they're actually not always better absorbed as advertised. While true at times, the body is very capable of absorbing a synthesized or isolated nutrient, like a vitamin B or vitamin C, even if no other food components are provided. For instance, I've read a lot that to absorb vitamin C, you have to have 10% of bioflavonoids, but this just isn't always the case. The body can pick and choose different nutrients to absorb based on what it needs. The absorption issue is a stance many food-based supplements manufacturers take as a reason to use their products. But this issue, it's really blown far out of proportion. Synthetics are absorbed quite well when taken with a meal. Also, like we just discussed, you don't need cofactors to absorb nutrients. The food-based vitamin companies also widely advertise that their products are superior because they contain these synergistic cofactors, which help you to absorb the nutrients. But in most cases, this is simply not true. Of course, it's going to be true for some nutrients, but not for all of them. Synergistic cofactors are not always needed in supplements. In other words, if we desire to give someone zinc, you don't need copper in it or manganese or some other vitamins with it. In fact, often makes the product less effective and perhaps inappropriate for that person. Vitamin C is another common example. Food-based supplement companies claim that when we take vitamin C, it has to be taken with 10% bioflavonoids in a correct ratio to be effective. However, we don't need or even want bioflavonoids with it. This just happens to be how nature packages vitamin C in some, but not all foods. Also, isolated nutrients are not toxic. Some books and websites claim that synthetic vitamins can be slightly toxic to the body, but isolated nutrients are usually no more toxic than food-based products. All food supplements are toxic to a tiny degree, and so are all foods for that matter. There's lots of foods that contain little bits of toxicity. For instance, nightshades have ingredients in them that are slightly toxic for the body. Lots of people are sensitive to different foods. A lot of different foods contain heavy metals. I mean, all foods are toxic to a certain degree. And in fact, isolated nutrients are less toxic than many food products, a fact that the food-based supplement crowd often overlooks. And if you want to learn a little bit more about this topic, you can read a fantastic article by Dr. Lawrence Wilson entitled Food-Based Supplements on his fantastic site, drlwilson.com. I love his site, by the way. It's so good. And let's talk a little bit about the best synthetic vitamins. Not everyone responds well to natural vitamins. You have to experiment and see what works for your individual biochemistry. These are vitamins, they're not natural, but they're very high quality. So I want to just brush over them a little bit. This is the one that I take. It's called Endomet brand. This supplement is called Megapan. And this is a fantastic vitamin. It doesn't have any minerals in it because it has a little bit of minerals, but for the most part, I take my minerals separately because minerals are very, very bulky. So you typically have to take a bunch of mineral pills, but you only need one or two or three little vitamin pills throughout your day. Another one that's really good is Endopan by Endoment. But note that these supplements are given based upon a hair mineral analysis test. So you don't want to be taking these unless you've already done a hair mineral analysis, which I highly recommend so that you do targeted supplementation to balance all your minerals and nutrients that you need. I don't generally recommend you randomly supplement. But if you're not up for the task, if you're not up for nutritional balancing with hair mineral analysis program, you definitely got to take something. So I recommend a brand by Thorne. Anything by this company is fantastic. Metagenics Phytomulti is really good. They've got Metagenics has a lot of different supplements, a lot of different multivitamins, but Phytomulti is their newest, really good one. So I would definitely take that over the other ones over their other product offerings. Designs for Health, fantastic vitamin and supplement company. I love all their vitamins. They also have vitamins and supplements that some don't contain iron, some don't contain copper, depending on your needs. Women over 35 definitely don't need to be taking copper or iron in their supplements. Integrative Therapeutics, fantastic supplement line. Anything by them is fantastic. Definitely recommend their multivitamin supplement. Here we go. Some more technical difficulties. Well, we'll get through it, I promise. Okay, now on to the best natural vitamins. If you're not totally sold on synthetics and you don't mind spending the extra money to take natural vitamins, great. Knock yourself out. There's lots of wonderful brands out there. One of them is Standard Process. I love Meta Organics. This is a really good product line. Life Give is a fantastic supplement. You have to take 8 of them a day, but this is the brand that was developed or sold by the Hippocrates Health Institute. They're a wonderful, wonderful institute that helps people totally invigorate their body and get rid of diseases like cancer. Like people go in there and just barely able to walk. They're on their deathbed, and this institute breathes them back to life. They're really amazing, and these are the supplements that they use. It's highly recommended. New Chapter, you can get these at any Whole Food store. These are very, very good supplements, but all the other ones I'm recommending you have to buy online or at a really high end nutrition stores. Dr. Green's is really good. I love Pure Synergy. This is a fantastic product line. They have so many good products, and I've been taking their vitamin C, their natural vitamin C, for a long time. But it's really expensive, so I'm actually switching to a synthetic vitamin C. Sorry to report. Also, Grown by Nature's very, very good product line. So many people wonder, are they deficient in certain nutrients? So I want to go through, I've done a lot of testing over the last year regarding my nutrient levels. And this is actually how I got into the hair mineral analysis, because I wanted to find out what am I deficient in, and what do I need to take. So I wanted to share with you my take on my journey, because I've learned a lot over the past 2 or 3 years trying to figure out, how do I figure out whether I'm nutrient deficient. And a lot of times that my doctor did not have the answers. So let's expand on that a little bit. So yeah, you can take a vitamin and mineral here and there. Maybe add in some protein powder fortified with vitamins, but you may be throwing your body more off balance. Random supplementation can throw your body out of balance, unfortunately. So your goal with taking vitamins is to get healthier, right? But you may be surprised to learn that while you are giving your body much needed nutrition, many people don't realize that minerals are what our bodies are actually most deficient in. And your mineral levels will determine how much energy you have. So, because of this, because we're mineral deficient, we end up accumulating toxic metals much easier, that make us sick and cause disease. Minerals and toxic metals can serve many of the same functions in the body. And when we are deficient in minerals, which is pretty much is everyone, our bodies are forced to accumulate heavy metals to do the essential jobs that the minerals usually do in the body, which is to repair the tissues, millions, trillions of enzymatic processes, etc. So you may not be accomplishing what you thought with the supplements that you're taking, and are, in fact, could be throwing your money away. But don't get me wrong, I want you to supplement with something. Supplementing is with anything is better than nothing. So for optimum health, you really need to do, let's see, you really need to do some testing to find out exactly what your body needs and supplement accordingly. So many people read that they need 1,000 milligrams of calcium, for instance, or another daily set amount for nutrient, but this is not always the case. Biochemical individuality is a term coined by Dr. Roger Williams to describe his research, finding that nutritional needs vary tremendously from person to person. For this reason, I recommend doing a hair mineral analysis to assess your individual nutritional needs. But it also has the added benefit of revealing your metabolism, also known as your oxidation rate, your stage of stress, like if you're in extreme adrenal fatigue or just beginning to show the signs of stress. When you're stressed out, you lose a lot of minerals. It also shows your thyroid function, your mineral levels, if they're high or low, your toxic metal levels, your digestive adequacy, and the state of your immune system, and many other factors which can be identified on the test. It's a really neat little test. So you can also do testing with your doctor. I did one called a Nutri-Eval with my naturopathic physician. I found out that I was deficient in vitamin C, B12, and lysine. And I also found out that I had too high a GLA fat, because the test also measures your whole fat profile, so all the different fats that you have or that you need. So my GLA fat was really high because I was going nuts with coconut oil. So I was trying to lose some weight, and I read that taking 3 tablespoons a day of coconut oil helps you to lose weight. But unfortunately, it threw my fat profile out of balance, so you can get too much of a good thing. So my doctor recommended that I cut down on the spoonfuls of coconut oil and take more vitamin C and do shots of B12. And this is very common. Most people are deficient in B12. I was, because I had been vegetarian for 2 years prior to getting the test, so that's why I was deficient. So unfortunately, that's great. This test showed that I was deficient in these two things, but this is obviously not going to vastly improve my health, just taking vitamin C and B12. Nor did this test address many other of the health problems that I was having, like serious brain fog and trouble sleeping and just fatigue and depression and just a very general sense of malaise. And the hair mineral test revealed that the reason I was low in vitamin C was actually because my zinc levels were really low. So I was using up all my vitamin C to fight infections, a job that zinc should be helping with. The hair mineral test also revealed that my immune system was functioning at a low level because I had a I had a high heavy metal toxicity, and all my mineral levels were low across the board. All my mineral levels were below the optimum levels. So the supplements that I receive on the nutritional balancing program are solving all of these health problems and symptoms, including feeding the required nutrients for my immune system and replenishing my mineral levels. So you can see that it's a much more holistic, well-rounded approach to supplementation to solve your health problems. And the nutritional balancing program is great because, say you do a test and your zinc minerals or mineral levels are low. You can't just supplement zinc. It doesn't work that way because all your mineral levels work kind of as a system. So if you are low in sodium, your body will increase or decrease your zinc to accommodate that and try to pump up your sodium levels. And so all of your mineral levels, if you take calcium, it'll affect another mineral level. So you need to work with someone that's trained in the hair mineral analysis that knows how to balance your mineral levels or do nutritional balancing so that they all can reach all the sodium, magnesium, calcium, all the other minerals can reach their optimum levels. Now, the problem today with most physicians doing testing is that they typically test for the blood for minerals and vitamin deficiencies. But the body has to keep the blood in a very narrow range of vitamins and minerals so that you don't get a lot of variance in the measurements for these nutrients. It's only a snapshot of that can change every single hour. The blood also does not give you a picture of the mineral and nutrient levels in the tissue, bones, and organs or your brain, which is much different than your blood levels. So, therefore, the blood is not a very reliable source for determined nutrient deficiencies. The hair shows an average of 3 months of a particular excess or deficiency in a mineral and reveals the entire body's nutrient levels. It's also a way, the hair is kind of a storage site and a dumping site. So it also shows your heavy metal toxicity because the hair will dump mercury or other things in the body to get it out of the body. The hair mineral test is a far more reliable test than the blood, as long as the lab you send your hair to does not wash the hair prior to testing, as this is going to skew the results. So if you've had a hair mineral test with your doctor before, you have to make sure that they don't wash the hair, or there's no point in even doing the test. The washing the hair washes away a lot of the minerals because many of them are water soluble. So you want to make sure you do this with a lab that doesn't wash the hair, which is I'm actually personally training in this system right now. I'm training in how to do the hair mineral analysis and becoming certified in nutritional balancing. And the lab that we send the the hair to the lab to is called Analytical Research Labs. And there's one other lab, I don't know the name of it offhand, but there's only two labs that don't wash the hair prior to testing. So these are the only labs that are going to give you accurate results. So, anyways, and this is also one of the reasons that hair mineral analysis doesn't have much credibility with most doctors, is because when studies have been performed, they've usually been performed when with washing the hair. So, like I said, this has posed problems. But the hair mineral analysis is very, very accurate as long as the hair isn't washed. So, unfortunately, most doctors is not very credible with it. This is really just due to their ignorance of the reliability of the hair test performed without washing the hair prior to testing. So, nutritional balancing uses foods and nutrients not just to correct symptoms, but also to balance the body chemistry. For example, a person in an alarm stage of stress requires much more calcium, copper, magnesium, choline, and inositol. However, excessive B complex or vitamin C's will be harmful for that person. A person in the exhaustion stage of stress requires more B complex and C and less copper. So, only by properly combining nutrients and taking into account a person's hair mineral level on their test, ratios and patterns on the test, a nutritional balancing program is much more precise and corrective of health conditions and symptoms, and is much more of a deeper and more permanent solution to their health problems than with medication or random supplementation. So, based on everything that I know, I believe it's very important for everyone to do a hair mineral analysis to balance your body biochemistry, correct your nutritional deficiencies, and prevent disease. And I do think it is better. Unfortunately, I mean, I do think it's better to take random supplements than none at all, because we're not able to get all the nutrients we need from food due to numerous reasons that I mentioned before. However, you're going to see drastically improved health when doing a targeted supplementation program based upon a hair mineral analysis. And this is the program I've been doing for the last year. And I did a radio show, a podcast about it that you can listen to. And it's called Nutritional Balancing with Hair Mineral Analysis. Oh my God, I've said that 1,000 times in this last few paragraphs. But this program, I can't even begin to describe how amazing it is. I've been doing the program for about a year, and so many of my like annoying little health problems have resolved. Because I woke up every night in the middle of the night at 2 and 3 a.m. I just couldn't think. I couldn't remember anything. I just had all this brain fog, and that's just because all the heavy metal toxicity and lack of zinc and other things that needed to activate your brain to make it work well. And my adrenal fatigue is healing. My thyroid problems are healing. It's just correcting everything. So I can't begin to describe to you how amazing it is, and it just heals your entire body. So all your health symptoms and health problems just kind of naturally start to diminish and go away. So I'm really, really looking forward to the next 2 to 3 years to see my health and my energy levels absolutely soar on this program. So enough of that. Okay, we have our technical difficulties again with me not programming the PowerPoint presentation properly. I'm very sorry. So today, our goals for this week. For session 5's goals, I want you to consider eating organic. It's very, very important to eat some organic produce so we don't get all these toxic heavy metals and other problems in our body. I also want you to consider taking a vitamin and mineral supplement. So today, if you're not currently eating organic, I want you to consider doing so. However, if you feel you can't afford it, try shopping at your local farmer's market. You know, vegetables are sometimes half the cost of what they are in the store. And if you go to the last hour of the market, many vendors will usually give you really good deals to get rid of their produce. So you can also try to grow your own vegetables, even in pots. You know, you'll be amazed at what you can grow and how easily you can do it. So if anything, grow some herbs like parsley, cilantro, and basil because they grow like weeds. They're so easy to grow. And I've also got a lemon tree in my yard that I bought for $8. I mean, it took a year to fruit, but now I always have free lemons and I love it. And I've got an orange tree back there too, and some other little plants. I just love it. So if you're already eating organic produce, fantastic. But try to eat even more organic. Get vigilant. Grow your own vegetables. Try to only eat at organic restaurants. You know, many restaurants use organic produce and meats without advertising it. So ask, refuse to eat pesticides. Refuse to any longer put these pesticides in your body that deteriorate your health. For our next goal, I want you to begin taking a vitamin and mineral supplement, preferably one of the brands that I previously mentioned, because I completely trust these brands. Everyone needs to supplement, so you got to get on the gravy train. Even more ideal, like I said, is to read my blog about nutritional balancing with hair mineral analysis or listen to the radio show. You can get a link to that on my website, live to110.com. And see if this program is something that you could commit to. I'm currently training this protocol because its results have proven so compelling with all the clients that I've started on the program. And I've personally had unbelievable results with the program as well. So I can only urge others to do it because it's a complete program with recommendations for supplements and detox methods and diets. And it takes commitment and hard work. There's a lot of components of the program, like I just mentioned, but you will exponentially increase your health in the process. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining session 5 of the Health Transformation webinar. It was a pleasure teaching you. Learning to live to 110 isn't so hard after all, is it? But thank you so much. Enjoy your day.